Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, also known as Stellar Studio Co. And today we have something different, something that's been highly requested, the star muff tutorial. This is my first ever tutorial and pattern, and I am learning. I know there is a lot to do about patterns and tutorials, but I figured since this has been so highly requested that I will make this tutorial and pattern for you guys. So side note, if you hear that beeping in the back, that is because my smoke alarm's been going off all weekend, and me and my mom both put requests in it, and look, it's yet to be fixed. So that tweet, that beep, beep you hear is a smoke alarm. And it is also in the tutorial, so I definitely apologize for that. But thank you guys so much for 600 subscribers. I want to do a giveaway. I usually do giveaways on Instagram, but I don't know how to do it on YouTube. So if you guys have like any ideas, can you please comment down in the description below, just if you know what it's kind of like doing giveaways on YouTube. That would be highly appreciated. So this tutorial is for confident beginners and intermediate crocheters. You'll need to know the basics of magic ring, how to make one, single crochet, and slip stitch as well. This tutorial and written pattern are for personal use only, which means you are not to sell your creations using this pattern and tutorial, but please tag me and what star muffs you guys create, because I cannot wait to see the color combos that you guys do. So now let's kind of get into the tutorials and stuff. This is a great pattern to use skeins of yarn that you are kind of like at this point in stage. So you're going to need a primary color. You're also going to need a trim or a secondary color. In this tutorial, I am using acrylic, but if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have done fuzzy star muffs before, and you would just repeat all of those steps with fuzzy yarn. And the fuzzy yarn that I use is the Bernay Pip Squeak yarn. I believe it is weight 5. There are some fuzzy yarns out there are too fuzzy, and honestly, I've been there. Like the pink fuzzy ones, they are cute, but I feel like it's too much fuzz. But if too much fuzz is what you like, then you're welcome to do it. You're also going to need scissors. You're also going to need a 4.5mm hook, a darning needle. You're also going to need stuffing, polyfill, something to stuff your star points and the center of your star. I know people use yarn to stuff like smaller things. I would recommend doing stuffing. I've never done it with yarn, and I'm not really sure how they would really hold up if you stuff them with yarn, but if you have a lot of yarn, I'm sure you could do it. You're also going to need a headband, of course. I know some star muff tutorials have you crochet the headband, but I do not do that. I actually use an actual headband, which I will link this in the description below. I get mine on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it at Target, Walmart, any place that has a thick headband. And then finally, you're also going to need a hot glue gun to attach the yarn to our headband and our stars to our headband. And this is completely optional, and you'll see why, but I do also use a tape measurer just to make sure I have the accurate length where I put the stars onto the headband, but you can completely eyeball it. And that's all I have, so let's get in this tutorial. First, we're going to start with the magic ring. Once you have your magic ring, you're going to insert 6 single crochets into it. So that is going into there, yarning over, and then pulling through those 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6, you're going to go ahead and pull your tail tight. Then you're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet you made for that round. And then we're going to start on round 2. So you're going to chain up 1, and then where we just did our slip stitch, you're going to insert 2 single crochets. So each of the stitches this round are going to have 2 single crochets, and you're going to have a total of 12 for this round. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to look like you have a stitch right here, and you don't. That's just due to the slip stitch from the previous round. So you're going to skip that, and then in that first single crochet of that row, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into it. And that's going to complete our second round. And you're going to chain one, and we're going to start our third one. So in that same stitch where we just slip stitched, you're going to add 2 single crochets. And then in the next stitch, only 1 single crochet. And then the pattern for this row is going to be 2 single crochets in 1 stitch and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. First, we're going to start with the magic ring. Once you have your magic ring, you're going to insert 6 single crochets into it. So that is going into there, yarning over, and then pulling through those 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6, you're going to go ahead and pull your tail tight. Then you're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet you made for that round. And then we're going to start on round 2. So you're going to chain up 1, and then where we just did our slip stitch, you're going to insert 2 single crochets. So each of the stitches this round are going to have 2 single crochets, and you're going to have a total of 12 for this round. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to look like you have a stitch right here, and you don't. That's just due to the slip stitch from the previous round. So you're going to skip that, and then in that first single crochet of that row, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into it. And that's going to complete our second round. And you're going to chain 1, and we're going to start our third one. So in that same stitch where we just slip stitched, you're going to add 2 single crochets. And then in the next stitch, only 1 single crochet. And then the pattern for this row is going to be 2 single crochets in 1 stitch and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm just finishing off my third round, and you know that you've done this round right when your 18th stitch ends in that 1 single crochet. And remember, we're going to go ahead and skip that, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet of that round, and we're going to chain 1. So now starting on the 4th round, in that same stitch where we just chained 1, we're going to add 2 single crochets, and then in the next 2 stitches we're going to only add 1 single crochet. So the pattern for this row is going to be 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And here I am about to finish up round 4, adding my 23rd and 24th single crochet. And again, you know you've done it right when your 24th stitch ends in that 1 singular crochet. You're going to skip that random space there, and then you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet of that row, and then you're going to go ahead and chain 1. So now we're going to do our last round for the base, and then that same stitch where we just chained 1, we're going to add 2 single crochet. So 1, 2, and then in the next 3 stitches we're going to add 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. So the pattern for this row is going to be 2 single crochet and one stitch, and then the next 3 stitches will be only 1 single crochet. Just now finishing my round 5, and I'm going to go ahead and add my last single crochet, which will be your 30th stitch, and that's how many stitches you should have in this round. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first single crochet of that round and chain 1. Now we finished our base, we're going to start with our star points. So in that same stitch where we just chained 1, we're going to add 1 single crochet and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So for every star point, you're going to have 5. You're going to have a base of 6 single crochets. So now we're going to go ahead and turn 1 and turn our work. And we're going to be decreasing for all of our star points. So you're going to skip that first stitch and go into that second stitch from your hook and do 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for that row, and you're just going to go ahead and get into that space, chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, go into the second one, and for this row you're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. You're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, go into the second one from your hook and put 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, and in the next 2 stitches you'll put 1 single crochet. You're going to go ahead and chain up 1, turn your work, and then skip that stitch. In that final one, you're going to add your last single crochet, and you're going to go ahead and chain 1. So that is how quick the star points will come together. And then you're going to go ahead and then just add 1 single crochet into that space, and we're going to add 1 single crochet all the way down until we reach our base. So I don't have an exact measurement here, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a single crochet to any points where I see that there is a little hole on the side. And then I'm going to put it final down here in this base to complete the star point. This one is not going to count towards your next star point, so you're going to start your count in the next stitch. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, and then in the next 5 stitches you'll add 1 single crochet. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and go ahead and skip that first stitch and then insert 1 crochet in the next 4 stitches. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, and then in the next 3 stitches you'll add 1 single crochet. You go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, skip that first stitch, and then the next 2 you'll add 1 single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work again, skip that first stitch, and then that last one you're going to add 1 single final crochet. For that chain 1, you're going to go ahead and just add single crochets all the way down till you get to your base, and you're just going to go through the holes until you get all the way down to your base, and then add your last single crochet to complete that point. And remember, you're going to always start your 6 single crochet for the star point in the next one, and then I'll meet with you once I get to finish the rest of the 3 points. So I now have all 5 of my points completed, and like before, you're just going to go ahead and do that last single crochet to complete the base of that star. And then in this space here, we are going to go ahead and slip stitch. So you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, and then cut your yarn off. Just that's how I secure it. And then you're going to repeat this 3 more times because each star muff takes 2 stars. So I'll meet back with you guys once you have that completed. So I have all 4 of my stars completed, and now I'm just going to go ahead and put 3 to the side. I'm going to show you guys how to do the trim, and you can do this with fuzzy yarn, but for this tutorial I'm going to just do acrylic just in case people don't have fuzzy yarn near them, and also I figured it would be easier to show on camera. So in the space where we did just do our chain 1 and cut off, I'm going to go ahead and go into that stitch and chain 1 with the new color. And then I'm going to make sure that I have the tail from where we cut and our new color, and we're going to go ahead and crochet over that. So for the outline or the border, the trim for the star, we're just going to single crochet all the way around, making sure that both of our tails are underneath our stitches. So I've reached the end of the trim, and now I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first chain 1 or single crochet for this row. And then I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 again and cut my yarn. And there we go. Now we have our trim for our star. And you're just going to complete this 3 more times so all 4 of your stars look like this. Once all 4 of your stars look like this, now we're going to do the attachment. But before we do that, I've already done it with these 3. What I like to do is I like to go ahead and cut the excess off. And then it doesn't matter, so you don't really have to sew this in here. But I like to just go ahead and cut this just so when I attach them together, it's not crazy. So you're going to go ahead and take one of your stars. You're going to put the wrong sides together, and the right sides are going to be facing out. So once you have your stars lined up, remember it's going to be wrong sides facing together, right sides out. Make sure where you cut from the previous trims that they are facing the bottom. And now I'm just going to, I always guess here, but I'm just going to go in, let's say the second one from the top, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch these 2 together. So I'm going to go ahead and take my primary color, and like I did before, I'm just going to yarn over and chain 1, and then I'll fold it this way so you guys can see. I'm just going to go through both of the stitches here, 4 V's technically on my hook, and then I'm just going to slip stitch. And I'm going to do this all the way down, going through both of the stars that we've created. And you're just going to slip stitch basically these stars together. Checking out at 2 points here. So when you get to the top, you're just going to go through. I found it easier to kind of separate them and then enter both of them at the same time. And then you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch. You're going to do that for all points. And then you're going to go ahead and continue that slip stitch all the way down the star. So where we cut our trim, I'm just going to go ahead and pull these into the star, and we won't have to worry about them. And you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch. It is a little rough over this part, but you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch for the rest of the star. This will just make it a little easier, so again, you don't have to worry about going through and yarning those in. So now I'm reaching the top right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this one last slip stitch. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and I'm going to leave a long enough tail because we'll be weaving this in. And yeah, you're just going to go ahead and complete that for your second one. So now I'm going to get my polyfill, and we are going to stuff our muff. How fun. So I like to pull 5 pieces that are similar, and then I roll them into balls. So just make sure that they're as even as possible. I have my 5 polyfill fuzz balls, and you can use yarn if you want. You can use whatever you have on hand. I've just never used yarn, but if that's what you have on hand, that's totally all right. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and stuff them into the points. I like to start with the bottom, so I'm just gonna go ahead and push the polyfill into the point, and then I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and stuff that through, and you're just using your finger to push it to the point so it can flare up, and then you're going to continue it with these two as well. Now for the last fifth one is going to go into the center, and this is important why I say make sure that they're all the same size, because this is going to be in the center of your ear, and this one will really determine if you overstuff it or not. So just kind of make sure I flatten it just a little bit, and you're going to go ahead and do two of them, and now we're going to attach it to our headband. So I'm going to go ahead and take my headband, and we're going to switch back to color A, or our primary color, and I'm just going to make a slip knot real quick, just a loose one. And I'm going to just go ahead and slip this on to our headband. I'm just going to go ahead and pull tight on that. And then I'm going to take our hot glue gun, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue, just kind of spreading it out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the yarn around the headbands. And usually I would be using clear glue for this, and plus it's just really hard to do this on camera right now, but this is essentially what you're going to do for the whole headband. You don't need to glue it in every spot, but you will probably glue it like 5 times, and you're just going to want to continue to loop this on the headband like this all the way until you get to the other side. So you see how I'm just making sure it's tight. It's okay if there's a couple of gaps, and also don't worry, try to, like when you start, it's okay if there's like some glue that gets right here, because your star muff is gonna like cover that. But when you're going up towards the top, make sure you really spread out the glue. And here is an instance of the real spread out glue, and then as you can see, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to loop this over, and you can see how I spread the glue here. So now I've reached the end, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue to yarn the yarn over the headband. And then once you reach the end, you're just going to go ahead, press that on there, and then cut off your excess. And once again, it's fine if you leave this like this, because it's going to get stuffed into the muff anyway. And now you have your completed headband, and no worries if it doesn't look perfect. Like, to me, I think this looks good enough, and plus I think it is really cute. Now this step is completely optional. You can do it. You don't have to if you're just eyeballing where you're going to put your star muffs that fit your head. But I'm just going to go ahead and take my tape measure and put the bottom where the bottoms meet. And then usually I do 3.5, but I think that was just a little too high last time. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3.25, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark it on the yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for the other side as well. So after I have those marked, I'm going to go ahead and slide my headband into my star, and we're going to go ahead and then make sure that the points are touching where we just marked where we're putting our star. And we're going to get our hot glue, and I'm just going to make a little cubby, and now I'm just going to put hot glue all there on the muffs, grabbing this, and then I'm going to pull that up, and then I'm just going to hold it for a couple of seconds. And don't worry, if some glue comes out, you can just go back and cut it later. And I am going to repeat this on the other side. Okay, so we're pretty much almost done. You just want to make sure that your star muffs in that gluing process now are, you know, the exact same length and everything like that. Now we're just going to go ahead and weave in our tails and close the finished gap closed. So I'm just going to go ahead and yarn through kind of go backtrack just a little bit, but you're just gonna go ahead and seal this gap shut so you can just see what I'm doing. And then, you know, to get through to the other side, you'll just go ahead and get your needle to go through. And I found if you just kind of push it up, it's the back, so I'm not going to really see it as much. And then you're just going to continue to weave that together. You're going to pull through one more time and then just weave it normally. And then go ahead and cut off your excess. And there you have a completed star muff. Stellar, if I say so myself. And with that, now you're looking stellar with your star muffs. Not only are you warm, but you're stylish too, and that's what we love. So do not forget to tag me on Instagram at Stellar Studio Co. so I can see your stellar makes. You guys are superstars. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please comment them down below or reach out to me on Instagram too. Make sure, just letting you guys know, make sure to stuff your points. Just stuff the points because you can overstuff them. Doing this pattern for a year, I know that you can overstuff them and they'll like hang out like this and they're not going to be actually warm for your ears since the padding from your ear to the muff itself. So that's just an FYI. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know I have so much to learn about making tutorials and everything, but that's all I have for you guys. If you want to see any more content from me, I'm more active on my Instagram and TikTok. And I will drop those in the description below, as long as if you also want to shop Stellar, because I'm repping a shrug today, that website link will be in the description with the pattern one as well. So thank you guys so much. Have a stellar day, and we'll see you next time.